marrying what's his face, the draft pick from the Cowboys. And they are going to have babies that will be linebackers at 5.
ACT. In my old boxing gym, I come in one day and the guy's like, hey, man, you've been coming here for a while now. You ever think, because they had an MMA gym in there too. Said, you ever think about trying out MMA?
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck no, man. Yeah. That shit is brutal,
It really is.
We're live.
Yep. No, there we have it. Yeah, that's perfect.
Right.
What you did.
It's true.
Welcome to the show.
All right, guys, welcome to the show. It's Saturday, 6:30, and it's time for Just the Guys. I was playing around on the internet this week, actually, and Gimpy, you were there. Me, you, and Reason. We were playing around on the internet. We actually came up with a little intro song. I want to introduce it to you guys. Tell me what you think. Here we go. Hold on, it has words.
We're bringing back shame, no filters, no lies. Just the guys talking real where the truth never dies.
So I'm on the free version. This is all the words I could get. All the words I could put in the free version.
We're bringing back shame, no filters, no lies. Just the guys talking real where the truth never dies.
Hey, let us know in the chat what you think about the new song. Let us know what you guys think.
Good.
I'm trying to turn it off now. Hold on. All right, there we go, guys. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Logic. Got the guys with me, Gimpy, CT, and Soldiers of Finance. Soldiers always eating when he get on here.
I think that had the wrong hit.
Snaps.
Yana says it was very romantic.
I think we got to find a new one. I think that ought to
I know, yeah. If Yana says it's romantic, guys, we got a great show coming to you today. We're just gonna have fun on the internet, but again, our goal is to bring back shame. So tonight we're gonna be talking a little bit about Obama. Then we're gonna go travel to outer space, maybe some simulation theory, and then maybe some who is this boxer? Or it's a fight, Layla Ali. Maybe talk about that a little bit. But guys, let's get right into it. This kind of pissed me off a little bit this week. I'm not gonna lie. This whole Obama stuff that came out. Obama's supposed to be the cleanest president that we ever had. A symbol of black culture. And if he's not following the Negronomicon to the T, man, I don't know what else is. I'm a man. I have a young son. And, this kind of ideology is that guys like Obama are pushing, I believe is really detrimental to masculinity, manhood, fatherhood. And that really is the toxic masculinity. So he was on his wife's podcast this week or this past week. And, they had a long conversation. And one thing that came out was what young men need to be introduced to, as they're into adulthood. So I'm gonna play this clip real quick.
And that's one of the things that I think a lot of times boys need is not just exposure to one guy.
Mm-hmm. One dad.
No matter how good the dad
is. He can't be everything.
He can't be everything. And that boy may need somebody to give the boy some perspective on the dad.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
One of the most valuable things I learned as a guy was I had a gay professor in college at a time when openly gay folks still weren't out of line, who became one of my favorite professors and was a great guy and would call me out when I started saying stuff that was ignorant. You need that to show empathy and kindness. And by the way, you need that person in your friend group, so that if you then have a boy who's gay or non-binary or what have you, they have somebody that they can go, okay, I'm not alone in this.
Yeah.
Right.
So there he is. He's saying that the way I think about this, you guys know the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's almost like Obama wants to write the book Straight Dad, Gay Dad. So CT, you guys had a conversation this week, man. How did that go? Like, what was the reaction to this? I have my thoughts, but what was kind of like the view on this? Because to me, it seems like he's advocating for undermining like the male figure in your life, and two, to me, it seems like there's more of destruction of the family in here. So what do you say?
Well, it was a mix. It was mixed on the channel, guys. Get the likes up in the chat, guys. By the way, salute everybody, guys. It was mixed reviews from my panelists. A lot of my panelists have do funnies in their family, so they took it as a slight to a degree. A lot of people took it as Obama is pretty much telling people that it's okay to groom young boys. A lot of people did think of it as the destabilization of the country. But the fact of the matter is that these people exist. The Western Hemisphere has been, I think one of the beauties of it is the fact that we are so tolerant. And, you know, like I said before, you need these people in our civilization. But, you know, for an ex-president or an ex-president to, you know, he has so much of a voice, maybe he should not speak on these types of topics, you know, and considering the fact that he doesn't have a son at all, you have to be very, very careful how you dish out a message, you know, because it could be interpreted different ways. But people are only going to hear what they want to hear. But what I heard was, you know, these people exist. There are kids who exist that are do funnies, and you know, and maybe if they don't have a father in the home or a father who's not understanding, maybe some outside guy, you know, who is, you know, can, you know, I guess can look at it from their perspective. But, you know, as long as you don't get into the grooming aspect of it, I didn't really find what Obama said to be that egregious, to be honest with you, man. You know,
Does it say anything about him though?
Yeah, it says a lot about him. Yeah.
Like what? Well,
Obama's he's pandering to obviously the left, but he doesn't really want to, or he doesn't really exemplify what men, in my opinion, should be. But he does exemplify diversity, you know, to a degree. You know, like deep down, I wouldn't want a son to be a do funny, you know. But I understand that these people exist. I don't know whether it's biology or genetics or whatever, but it's not going to stop, to be honest with you, man. If you live in a country like this, or if you live in the Western Hemisphere, it's not going to stop.
So, Soldiers, I want to go to you because, you know, we saw during his presidency a lot of LGBTQ legislation get passed, and now he's talking about this. You have to, you know, young boys need gay, you know, gay influence, so to speak, is the way I heard it. Now, you talked a lot about economics. You know, he was doing that for economic reasons. My question to you now is, though, what do you think he was doing it for personal reasons? Was this personal?
Oh, in terms of whether or not Barack Obama is gay, I don't know.
I mean, he was passing all this LGBTQ legislation.
Oh, yeah.
Was this personal when, you know, he was passing these things while he was in office?
I don't believe so, because initially he came out vehemently against gay marriage. He's on record as saying marriage is between a man and a woman. The gay marriage initiative was all about economics, but plain and simple. And we've covered that before. As far as what he said here, I got to be honest with you. And you know, Barack Obama's not one of my favorite people, but I will give him the benefit of the doubt on this. Barack Obama, for all of his supposed oratory skills, the guy's just not good off teleprompter. And he should have learned a little lesson from Will Smith. Black men going on their wives podcast usually doesn't work out too well. Okay.
I guess he's
So-
lucky the table wasn't red, right?
right. So when he said that, first of all, what he said his gay professor told him was in no way exclusive to the gay experience. He just gave him some advice. He said, he told me not to act stupid. This, that, that. He just said that. So that was not, that didn't need to come from a gay person. Okay. The other thing, though, that I did find disturbing, and if you listen to like some of the dialogue between Michelle and her brother and Obama, they doubled down on this whole idea of, the left loves this trope of ushering your kids into the state, capital S, being their parents. Okay. People focused on what Obama said, but after that, they got into furthering this idea that there's this community that your kids belong or should belong to. The reality of it is, because Barack Obama also said, well, yeah, you're going to need people other than the father. And I'm like, you're not talking about anything revolutionary. Okay. I'm sure all of us on this podcast right now have had several male influences in our lives. You're not saying anything original. So that's just the take. That's what I took from it.
But didn't you hear him? It was almost like a point in there where he was like, because he was like giving you a perspective of your own father. Like when people say things like that, especially to me, that's like one of those ways of saying, here's how to circumvent the authority in your home.
He definitely alluded to that because he said, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said something like somebody that can check the father, or words to that effect. He did say that. So, again, like I said, though, it's this whole ideal that the left has always had, that the children are a part of the larger state. And people got to be careful with that because, that's, as much as people might think it's not true, your kids, if they go to public school, they spend more waking hours with the state, at least during the school year, than they do with you.
Mm-hmm. So, Gimpy, do you think Barack Obama or former President Barack Obama knows how to be a man?
I think he knows how to be a communist. I mean, I agree with everybody and I disagree with all of you. I feel like you guys missed the point. I don't know how to say it. I've been sitting here trying to think of the right way to say it because every way I'm thinking of saying it is off the mark as well. But nothing is by accident. He's not stumbling. He's not bad off teleprompter. He's using classically trained communist tactics. You have the man you need a disruptor in your group. So in this instance, it's the LGBTQ disruptor because that's the agenda they're pushing for the narrative of the communist revolution currently. You need a man to give you perspective in your friend group that can help you give you perspective on your father, right? Yeah, that's supposed to be the grandfathers. You have two of those actually built in. Again, if you use the family structure, the language is very directed and poignant. It's supposed to come across as silly and bumbling, so it seems inane, but it's very, very sharp and edgy and leads you in a very specific direction so that you get to the end of what you were saying, Tyrone, that the state, but it's to lead the untainted minds that are listening. And dude, I had an eye-opening thing when I was Wednesday night working in the box with Kamari upstairs at the studio. Dude, he loves Obama. He doesn't even know anything about him, and he loves him and everything he says. And he's a conservative black kid for the most part. And so I'm just saying, like, Obama knew what he was doing. They all knew what they were doing. That was 100% scripted down to the interactions to make it look like they still had a family without making it cross the lines into being an unacceptable communist, right? Like not acceptable for communism family interactions. Go back, watch it again, and think about it as in they're selling you a communist play. Everything lines up with being classically trained at what they're doing and how they're trying to subvert America. And they win by everybody. And, we're arguing whether gay or whatever. We should be arguing whether they're allowed to even keep speaking because they keep infecting us with communism. That's the argument I'd rather have. I don't care what they were talking about. I don't think I want them having a platform anymore.
Well, I think,
but isn't it interesting though? Like, because there is the long game there, right? Because I mean, granted, you just talked about Kamari, our intern, who works the cameras for Poppin' Politics, and shout out to Poppin' Politics. But
shout out to Kamari.
And shout out to Kamari. So I remember I was like that, right? When Obama was like this guy, he's married. There's allegedly no scandals. You know, like you kind of present this person as if they're clean, easy to follow. They're well spoken. I remember all the comedians like started trying to mimic Obama's tone. But it was like there was this kind of cultural influence, and then as you follow someone that has that, what do you call it, like charisma, it's easy to kind of infect them. I'm lucky that Trump came on the scene, and that's when I really started paying attention to politics. Actually, I need to tell that story because there was a gentleman by the name Omar Orpesa. He's a business guy in Florida, and he's Cuban. And I went to a Redskins football. His favorite team is Miami Dolphins. I went to a Redskins football game with him. We were in the box club seats, and it was like halftime. And the guy asked me, straight point blank. I've hung out with him maybe one or two times, but I always looked up to him and my other coach, Christian David. I looked up to them, but he sat down with me and said, "You didn't vote for Obama because he's black, did you?" And I said, "Yeah. I mean, I thought Obama was like he was doing the right things, and from what I could see, right, and from culturally, I was following." What the culture saw, right? The black president, no scandals. He's not a rapper. He's not a ball player. He's someone that's articulate and intelligent. All the things that I thought were missing from the black display, so to speak. And yeah, I voted for him because he's black. But then he just started. That was like the seed that got planted for me to start really investigating, politics. But, I said all to say, it was just like, it's just interesting how this stuff gets infiltrated and they're playing the long game, right? Everything doesn't have to happen for them. Like, they don't have to destroy the family today, but over time, the family will be destroyed. Right?
Well, it has been to a great extent since the Civil Rights Act. Think about it. Since LBJ's Great Society, we've seen a consistent degradation of the family, and not just the black family. If you look at the demographics for whites and even Asians and Hispanics, those numbers trend downward.
I'd just like to hold on, CT. You need to tell them about the destruction of the family that you witnessed this week.
You have to speak. What happened
with JP, man? With Jay Prince. How he sat there and he said he's teaching his daughters to have the baby daddies so they can stay on welfare for the life. Yeah. Dude, tell them that. Dude, I can't tell that story as good as you can.
JP is an individual he's proud to be on welfare. He's a proud welfare king, not at the same level as Elon Musk but anyway. He told, he takes care of his kids. He says that, as a black man, he would rather, instead of being undermined or thrown under the bus at a place of employment where the bosses aren't black, he'd rather just, be taken care of by the government. And he is preparing his daughters. He has about 4 daughters into the next generation of being welfare recipients. And he said that he would prefer his daughters to marry guys who are also on welfare. And so so the family structure, you've gotten people like this for decades now thinking like this, man.
So man, that's crazy because more or less it'd be women that kind of promote that. Now you're seeing men do that. But
And it's funny that you're
He'll
saying
say
that
that he was raised by a woman.
doesn't want to go into the corporate structure and be bossed around by a white man, but at the same time, he's okay
Being
to
taken care of.
be relegated to
Oh
dependent.
no, wrong. He doesn't. Whoa! Stop that bus. You can't pin that feeling of shame on Jay Prince.
no, that happened.
Oh no, I'm
No,
apparently
he'll say that that's his reparations.
Yep.
apparently yeah, he's not
What
ashamed.
owed
Yeah,
to him. I want you to understand, like, so that everyone in the audience, anybody who doesn't know, you have a clear picture. It's not some dude who's like quietly. No, he proudly, dude could run a seminar on how to fraud welfare and get away with it for years at end, and he'd be proud to do it. Like, you have to understand this guy. Like, at show and tell when you were a kid in kindergarten, and you got the new GI Joe with the kung fu grip, right? And you stand up in front of the class and you're showing everybody how that GI Joe with the kung fu grip looks like. Okay, that's Jay Prince. Every time he comes on CT's panel and rubs it in everyone's face who tries to say anything like you just said. I'm sorry, like, that's why I had to say it, because
No, I'm not. Yeah, I get you. I'm not.
Can't say that to him.
I'm not suggesting. Apparently, there is no shame if he's bragging about it on CT's platform. All I'm saying is that it's a contradictory message. On the one hand, he says that he doesn't want to put himself in a situation that he's obviously feels as though he's not smart enough to navigate corporate politics.
No.
Hold on. Let me just finish this brief thought. If he's suggesting that, which is what I heard CT say, I could be wrong. If he's suggesting that, but instead is okay with being dependent, whether he's embarrassed about it or not, he is dependent. That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So again, okay.
So at that point, what is dependence and what is independence?
You have to understand this guy, JP, man. What you just said about corporate, it goes into a bigger scope of his thinking. Everything you know that you accept is true. White man told you, so it's not true. You're wrong. He's right. He's getting his his respirations.
Respirations, yeah. Well,
He's getting his respirations.
Is that what he calls them?
Nothing you can do about it, honky. Okay, like, that's how he is. That's how he told the dude. He does not care. He has no shame. You know the thing? He does the Pastor Manning and the African sounds and the click clack and the whatever. Dude dances around to it like a monkey on camera in front of his kids.
That's funny.
Well, hopefully, some provisions in that big, beautiful bill will smack him upside the head soon.
I hope so. Hopefully.
I'm just saying, it's demonstration of how Obama and his side are winning. Like, I'm just trying to show you that they infiltrated so far that we have grown-ass men doing that. And
so it's not just Obama, but Obama has a choir, right? Like, he has a chorus of people kind of behind him, just promoting various aspects of the message. And I want to kind of focus still back on the LGBTQ element of it, because so Charleston White was on PBD recently, and he had something to say about how the LGBT is promoted, particularly amongst the black community.
I fault our black women for our gay community. I blame them because nobody accepts homosexuality in the black community. Homosexuality and gangsterism. Nobody accepts this more in the black community than black women. Because most of their sons are gays or gangsters. They're not in between. That's why we stand up for guys like George Floyd and not kids like Tamir Rice. We support our gangsters. Let one of our gangster niggas get killed by the police. Let a good person get killed. We act like we don't know nobody. Let a gay person happen. Black women is mad. Black women are the only faction of our community that treat the gay man like he's a girl. And she raised her son to be like the gay dude or the gangster dude she dates. So, they don't let the black man have access to his children. Soon as the baby's born, she gets named, this my baby, this my baby.
So he had on a hat there that said full-time father, which I thought was pretty cool. But so Charleston White, we talk about the Negronomicon, which we need to write. We need to put it together, which, it just kind of exemplifies how, black women are God at this point. But first off, Is it the black women that are really promoting this? CT, like, I mean, you have a cultural panel. You see that you get a lot of experience with this, man. So is it really black women that are pushing this? Do you agree with Charleston White, or is there something else really at play here?
I totally disagree with Charleston White, man. Everything in the in any community should be the responsibility falls on the men. You know, there's I don't know how many millions of men there, black men there are in the country, but if black men really wanted to regulate, I guess this certain community, they could do it overnight. Black men could literally do it overnight. They could condemn these men overnight. They can get these men in order overnight. They can check this behavior overnight. You know, and I'm not making it a physical thing. You know, you don't have to beat people up. Some gay dudes will beat your ass. I'll admit that. But you know, you don't have to do that. But the thing of the matter is that, you know, if black men aren't able to, you know, be the masters and commanders of the black culture, then you know, to me, how can a woman promote anything? You know, it doesn't make any sense to me. You know, women can only promote as far as what a man lets them do. Women don't control the media. You know, women didn't create the goddamn media platforms, let alone make the cameras, the jumbotrons, the social media outlets. Women didn't do that. And, you know, the same thing could be said about the white community or white women promoting this, you know. So it's not about whether they're promoting it. It's whether to me, it's about why aren't black men stopping it if it's such a problem. And one of the problems is that you got to stay in your kid's life, man. A lot of do-funnies that I've met in my life and known, they come from single parent households, and particularly it's a woman raising them. And, you know, he's raised around all these stupid women, stupid aunties, and he takes on the characteristics of a female. I mean, let's be honest, man. Between the ages of birth and 7 or 8, kids are pretty much gender neutral anyway. They don't really know what they are anyway. I mean, if I can think about it. But if you don't have the corrective courses, a lot of those hormones that you eventually get go into do-funnyism, you know? So I think Charleston White is completely wrong about this. This is my opinion. I saw it the other day. I thought he was wrong about it in a nutshell. Yeah.
So what, hold on, Gimpy, I want to go to you. Was Charleston, because I want to go to you last on the soldiers. Was Charleston on point? Do you see, do you agree with CT where black men need to step up, or do you think there is something to, you know, a dominance of female culture that has led to more or less the acceptance of gangsterism and homosexuality?
I think there's plenty enough blame to go around, but the way he frames, see, my problem is I'm not a part of that community in that way, right? Like, so I'm an outsider looking in. So from as a third
I thought
party,
you were more black than all of us on
yeah,
here.
but
Man.
that doesn't make me like dude. I grew up in a 2-family household. I grew
2-family household.
Yeah, 2-parent household. Sorry, 2-parent household. I'm just saying, like,
I grew up in a 2-parent household. Does that make me less
like,
black?
you're asking me to comment on like the bottom of the barrel, and I have no frame of reference as an insider. I only see it from people I've known, I've interacted with, and, you know, the world I've moved through. But like, dude, this is the problem. Who's to blame? Everyone's to blame. CT's right, men are responsible. The dude's right, women are responsible. You know why? Because it takes 2 to raise a kid. It takes 2 to tango. Your mother and a father, they're both input mechanisms. The child's the device that, you know, is the entity that you're feeding the information to. Father has responsibility, mother has responsibility. So if the mother's fucking up, the father's fucking up, then they're both fucking up. So yeah, men can seize the day, sure. But women can also stop being stupid. I mean, like, there are plenty of things they can change. There are plenty of things we can change. It applies to every community. I mean, in this specific instance with gangsterism and homosexuality for the black community, yeah, the black community, just like any other community, can police itself properly and it'll solve problems. But dude,
is there a desire to change it?
Blame somebody instead of just fix.
I don't know. Can you guys hear Gimpy?
I can hear Gimpy. Yeah.
I couldn't hear him.
I couldn't hear Gimpy.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Perfect.
Look, I'm just saying that there's enough blame to go around, and his thing is part of the problem. He's still just pointing the finger away. He's just punting. He's not taking the responsibility of like, okay, so that's the problem. What am I doing to solve it? I'm sitting here bitching on PBD's podcast about it instead of forming a men's group. And I don't, dude, that's because that's what that is. It's
I don't know, man. Hold on.
What is he saying he's doing about it, dude? He's saying
all right. So let's put it in perspective and just looking at the image that was presented on PBD's podcast, right? He has a hat on that says full-time father, right? So in reference to his children,
George,
huh? No, but but hold on. In reference to his children, he's, from what he's presenting, is at least trying to be present.
Statement about all black women and that they're the reason there's a problem. He's pushing all responsibility of men into black women's lap, saying that because of black women and only black women, gay and gangster rap is the lifestyle. I don't think
he was saying that.
Yeah, that's exactly what is he saying then? He's saying that nicely, that he's still, no, he's saying that if black women would change, we wouldn't have problems. He's not saying
so
black men,
is it not okay to point out a problem?
It is a problem, but it's not for him to just push the blame away. If he wants to be a leader, he has to lead with solution. Where's the solution in that rant? There's just
full-time father. Full-time father. That is the solution.
That is not a solution when you're sitting there saying the entire problem falls on the other party. That's not how that works, dude. You know,
he says full-time father. That is the solution, dude. Like being there for your kids is the solution.
A jersey that says Tennessee Titans and Eddie George. I am neither a Tennessee Titan nor Eddie George. A hat is just.
So would you like Charleston White to father all the children out here that he's that he's talking about?
He's sitting there saying the entire problem with the culture, with homosexuality in his culture, gangsterism in his culture, falls only on the women. If the women wouldn't be raising them the way they are, keeping the fathers out, raising them like the thug boyfriend or the gay man they treat as the woman. He said those specific things. What about where in his thing does it say what I'm going to do to deal with that? No, it's just pushing blame. The whole message he's sending is a message of punting the blame to the other party instead of a message of resolution and solution. If you're sitting there and you want to lead people and you want to make a positive, impactful change on the world, you will honestly and forthright find solutions and not just say it's your fault. Now go. I'm sorry, that's what he did.
So listen. All right. So first off, it's a part of it was a clip. Right, it was a clip of a longer episode. Right. I didn't watch the whole episode, but what I'm saying, like it seems like this happens all the time. Anytime, like like a man points something out, and then especially black men now pointing things out. Right, so hey man, there's an issue. This is what's going on. I am doing this. I am being I'm a father to my kids. I'm present, but culturally we are seeing this, right? Also, this is what I'm attempting to protect my children from. I'm saying, hey, these are the warning signs out here. This is what's out here. I know I can't just like turn the switch on.
He was doing, so we'll have to agree to disagree on. Like I don't think his framing is framed the way you said. I think it's closer to what I said than closer to what you said in terms of what his intent is. He's pushing the bag all onto women.
I don't agree.
I
disagree. What do you say, CT?
Like he, in no way does he say are the men responsible for any of it. In no,
that was a clip. We watched 1 minute of.
Dude, he says it in the mechanics of what he says. They keep the men out. He builds a fence to protect men. They keep the men out. Then they go and raise it like the gangster they're dating or the gay man that they treat as a woman. He says all that. He frames it so that the man is isolated away and the problem all revolves around the woman.
Is that not true, though?
Let me say this. I see where Gimpy is coming from at, George, because it's not just in the black community, but really you see in the West in general that men have stepped back and they're prioritizing peace. And a lot of men think the absence of conflict is peace, but that's not peace. A lot of men, be they in the UK damn near giving over their country, nature and leadership abhor vacuums. So when you don't lead, either in the case of the Black community, the women going to come in and do it. In the case of the UK, the new arrivals, they're going to gradually take over. Okay. You can see it in every aspect of their society. Sadiq Khan has been mayor of London for God knows how long. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a larger issue than just one ethnicity. With regard to, I mean, you could look at a place that used to be the bastion of leadership for the Black community, the Black church.
Yep.
Tomorrow Sunday, go into any Black church, you're going to see a majority of women. You guys have heard me say it before. Okay, you get 100 parishioners in a Black church, right? 3 of them are male. One's the gay choir director. The other is a cat that's a deacon. He's 97 years old, and all he knows how to do on Sunday is come to church. And then the third is the guy that's on the make, and he goes from church to church looking for a church girl with ideas of marriage and settling down. He go 10 churches in a month. Okay, that's the main, and of course the pastors there, but men have largely, not just Black men, but in the West, men have largely abdicated their position of leadership because we want peace so bad that we're just saying we don't want to argue, we don't want to fight. Okay, look, why do you think Disney keeps creating the same bullshit movie that they lose billions on time and again? Well, because people like Kathleen Kennedy, who's in Disney, she says, F you, Bob Iger. I'm going to do what I want to do. And apparently Iger doesn't have the balls to say, bitch, no, you're not. This is a multi-billion-dollar company. We're going to produce things that people actually want to see. So it's permeating the entire West. It's not just the Black community.
So is it working? I mean, like,
look around.
Are we getting more peace?
No, we're getting chaos.
We're getting chaos because we're unwilling to. We thought we're going to get an absence of conflict and mistake that for peace, like Bling said. This is what I'm saying. That's the problem with what he's doing. He's stepping back and pushing the problem away from him instead of saying, I own this problem and I'm going to go in and smash up every single mom household that's doing that. At least that's a solution. I mean, I might not agree with the violence in it, but still, it's something. All he's doing is saying, here, it belongs to Black women and only Black women. I'm sorry, for every Black dude that's one of those ghetto gangster guys that they're dating, they're as equally responsible. So what about that? In his own statement, Black men are part of that problem because they create the role model by behaving in the ghetto gangster lifestyle. And I'm just using his own statements. I'm not even getting in on it like I have an opinion. Like, this is what I mean. I have this problem with anyone. CT will tell you this. I am a monster to people like this on his panel, anywhere. I hate dishonesty like that. Dude, you have to own the world we live in. We are the men. We are the builders of every society that has come before this. If we're going to save what's left of this amazing culture and amazing nation, we're going to stop fighting amongst ourselves, stop looking for people to blame, and just fix things. I'd rather be effective than right every day of the week. And that's how I live my life, by Tony Robbins, man.
Do you think that when the Europeans decided to set off on the Crusades, that they checked in with their wives first?
Never.
Do you think Ferdinand Magellan said, let me check with my lady before I go on this voyage of exploration?
Nope.
Not at all.
So let me ask you, soldiers, do you check with your wife before you go on any voyage?
Usually we go on voyages together because we go on cruises. But no, I didn't ask my wife if I could can I join the fire department, please? No, I did not. Okay, there comes a time, and her and I have had this conversation, that I'm not going to prioritize peace over prosperity and the safety of this family. So I've had discussions with my wife. My wife's not from Maryland. So I've had discussions with my wife early on about Baltimore City. I do not want my wife in Baltimore City. I do not apologize for that. Okay? And so there has to be that attitude. At the end of the day, I'm the captain. I'm responsible.
What about you, CT? Do you consult your wife before you embark on any voyage?
Yeah, I mean, you know, because women, any woman that's around you that cares about you, she wants to know your whereabouts. So, you know, because of their, other than that, uh, yeah, I do it in a nutshell. Yeah, yeah. But I did tell everybody. I said if they are ever offered a Mars expedition, even if it's a one way trip, I'm there. Hey man, I'm there. I'm gone.
All right.
Yeah,
And don't mistake that with being
yeah.
like I'm not going to be disrespectful.
Right.
Okay. I'm not going to do that. But my wife expects leadership. Okay. So why would I let her go into an unsafe situation? Okay. And I'm going to do maybe a little bit of explaining, but at the end of the day, I'm weighing alternatives. So I'm not going to have a 45-minute discussion with you. But what I am going to do is make sure that you don't get carjacked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, Gimpy, do you consult with your wife before you go on any voyage?
My wife's a Russian woman, so yes. But it's not like that. See, it's different. I consult for the way CT tried to frame it. Like, she doesn't care what I do. It's up to me what I do. It's that if I don't tell her before I do it and she worries, she'll kill me when I come back alive. So it's that sort of thing. It's not a matter of having to clear it with her. It's a matter of making sure she doesn't worry.
Man,
Otherwise,
funny.
they'll kill me when I come back. Don't mess with Russian women. They'll kill
Y'all
you.
are funny, man. Y'all just said, men lead, man. You go out there, you don't wait on anyone, you don't ask for permission, and then you like, yeah, I'm gonna check with my wife.
I don't, dude, that's not what I said. I said I pay my wife the respect to let her know where I'm going. I don't need permission. I need to make sure that I show her the, like, dude.
Okay, I mean, we can roll back the tape. We can roll back the tape. I mean, it's fine. It's good.
Yes, men lead. My wife will tell you that she will never make a judgment on what I do. I get to do that. I mean, you want me to go get it? Dude, you know,
I mean, she's in the chat. You know, she said she's in the chat.
No, I mean,
she
but
wrote
she
the comment.
says it all the time, dude. Here, look, dude, this is her favorite thing. Whenever she's giving me mash, she says, because I'm not leading. So then I just tell her what to do, and she does it, dude. I'm just saying, that's how my wife feels every single time.
I'm just saying, you
And look, leadership is that can be a scary place to be.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a lot of responsibility. Yeah.
Because you have to make sure that, and I mean leadership in the job, leadership wherever you are, right? But in the family, you're the one. I remember, my entire family. My grandfather was a classic World War II alpha male dude. Okay, and everybody that leadership mantle went up to him. Okay, even for other men in the family, they relied on his advice. Okay, man, a few words, and prone to violence. Okay, you knew that if you stepped wrong with this guy, there was probably going to be some violence. Okay, but that was his mantle of leadership, and I tell you what, I wouldn't trade it for the world, because as far as our family was concerned, we didn't have much money, but I would not trade my upbringing for the world because of what he instilled in us with regard to leadership. Now, sure, me and my brothers and my cousins, we have a different flavor to it because we don't have his same experiences, right? We weren't in World War II. Okay, we did not come from the Jim Crow South. Okay, we did not run numbers, so we're different. But we still have that mantle of responsibility and take it seriously.
Your grandfather ran numbers? That's freaking cool, bro. My dad ran cigarettes for Maya Lansky when he was a kid.
Wow. And my grandfather ran numbers. So shout out to the Kung Fu CJ with the $10 super chat. All this started in the 1960s. First it was prayer, then the 10 Commandments. The Communist Party infiltrated the Democrat Party around this time also. And I'd argue it started probably around the 1920s. A little bit earlier, because Manning Johnson was talking about that and ended up writing a book in 1958. But it was 1920s, I think, that the communist influence really started to plant its seeds and take root. And they started with the church. So that is where it all started. But
Margaret Sanger went into the church too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
that's how she convinced them to put one on every corner and every Martin Luther King Boulevard Drive in every city in America, man.
Yep.
Through the church.
So I want to go back because I we talk about leadership and masculinity because there is masculinity is missing in the culture, and I do think I agree with you, Gimpy, in that we need to do something about it, but also at the same time I think it's okay to point out the problem, right? It's not okay just to point out the problem and not do something. That's hypocritical. But I do think pointing out the problem is key because you recognize that there's something wrong, and then two, actually doing something. So I know there's things that even personally I'm doing in the community, helping kids learn construction, just helping people get jobs and learn skills. Also, I've started getting into more fitness training. So, and then even kind of helping others do the same, particularly young men. That's just kind of one avenue, I'm doing. But I feel bad for a lot of these kids these days because one, a lot of them are grown up with single moms, and there's no denying that, like it's almost like that, if a tree falls in the woods, like, do you hear it type of thing? Because there's a lot of kids out here with single parents. And it's impossible to reach all of them with the amount it is at this point. But the problem is persistent, right? And it is a problem. And I really feel bad for the kids. So much so, like, if Obama's promoting the LGBTQ, you see it being promoted despite initially the black community really, really rejecting it, especially like men. Men still kind of like men still are not with the LGBTQ stuff. But you do see the women pushing it, and you're seeing these young boys coming up into it. So much to the point where I want to play this next clip.
That shorty that be on the reels and shit, that's that tranny, damn it.
Yeah, most definitely.
For real? Yeah, on God. On God, she's famous.
What can I say?
Ain't you a nigga? You a nigga?
Am I a nigga? Well, you just said it, no? Right?
No, but
No, but you just said it, baby. So you should know, right?
No, right? I don't like how you talking.
No, but you just said it, babe. So you should know.
So I'm correct. So I'm correct.
So you correct?
I'm asking.
I mean, you just said it, so I can't argue with facts, right?
Why is you avoiding the question?
No, I'm not. I said you just said it, so I can't argue with facts, right, baby?
So I'm correct. Your voice is scaring me.
Why does my voice scare you?
Why is your voice scaring you, bro?
Why do I need to sound like a guy for you?
I mean, if you're a trans, I'm kind of scared.
Did just mention that I'm a famous
You got your
trans.
nails done?
Yeah, most definitely.
You got your nails done? Interested in a fag? You're a fag. Oh, I ain't
Baltimore boys always arguing and fighting. I done fucked plenty of y'all.
She ain't fuck. You saying you fucked plenty of us, but you ain't fucked me yet.
No, because I just can't find you. But one day I will when I come. Like, I'm from the DMV, so
Baltimore.
Well, exactly. So when you see me in Baltimore with all this ass,
you're gay.
Ignore him. When you see me in Baltimore with all this ass and this small, tiny waist and these big ass things, you gonna know it's me. So I'm not worried about it. And look, friend over there shocked. Look, I look better than any bitch you talk to. Wherever you at, let me just swallow that motherfucker like down. I wanted to touch the bottom of my throat.
All right, yeah, that was enough.
I'm very entertained by that clip. That was a very entertaining clip.
Well, that last part, I would like to thank everyone who joined us tonight for the last episode of Just the Guys podcast. Thank you for tuning in.
That guy in the top left was hysterical, man.
Yo, this is crazy.
Not really. It's 2025, man. It's not new. Maybe it's new to you because you're a busy guy, but...
Well, and that's the other thing, man. You're right. It's not new. It's just more
everywhere.
visible. It's more
everywhere.
visible. Okay. It's much more visible. And then the other thing is this. All right, so take the trans person and how she, whatever it was articulating, obviously far and away the master of that conversation. Okay. And look at those guys, how easily manipulated they are. You're dealing with people who don't even know who they are themselves. So they're going to be highly susceptible to suggestion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yo, the
one kid realized what was going on the end. That's what makes it so funny. Look at the kid in the top left at the end of the clip. He can't wrap his brain around what he's dealing with anymore because he realizes the kid below him is gay, openly promoting that he's gay without even realizing it. He realizes the kid below doesn't realize that he's gay.
Right. How has that become so accepted? Like the young man at
you are 20 years too late. That's why, because you are having a conversation. This is something I have said to you guys repeatedly. If this is the Trojan horse as an analogy, you think you're pulling the thing in through the door just about now. I'm telling you, they're burning down the houses and raping the women and shit graping. Dude, that we are way beyond. You're 20 years too late for that question. I'm sorry. That's why.
Kung Fu with this $2 super chat was what the no comment. No comment.
We talked about the larger aspect and how it's manifesting itself, say, in the UK as a total usurpation of their society, their traditions, their culture. Okay. The lack of leadership from men. In the Black community, it's manifesting in such a way that it's culminating in absolute degradation, moral degradation. I have often thought that I'm probably going to just die old sitting on my front porch because we're not going to be able to go to hospitals and actually get professional treatment. These are the people that are going to inherit the leadership positions that society needs. Okay.
No, thank AI. Thank the guys now building the AI because they know how goddamn stupid all the kids are. So they're building a fail-safe where we're going to have a society run by AI. And I figured it out. That's how
we're going to prefer it.
CT. Yeah, that's how Musk is going to force his type 1 civilization is he make humans so stupid they can't live without AI so that we cheer. And just like the Republic fell to the roar of applause, humanity will subserve to the robots. No problem.
Right, because those guys couldn't even, they could barely communicate. Okay, now the trans, again, articulate, but the two guys, they could barely communicate, and that's not rare. Okay, if you drop,
I don't know that the guy up top, like he was communicating enough in that situation. He was like, "You're gay. Are you really allowed?" Like to me, the guy up the top was like, "Yo, are you really about to you know?" Because apparently this person is a famous trans person. So everybody knows the person is trans, despite the appearance, despite, how convincing or not convincing, he may look. Everyone knows this person is, because the first question the guy at the bottom asked was you a nigga? Like, that was the first question. Then he said, you ain't mess with me yet.
I'm telling you, he doesn't understand that he himself is gay. That's the thing. That's what I'm trying to point out here is like that dude in the top, it all hit him like a ton of bricks all at once. At first, his brain couldn't keep up with what was going on because she was using words that were too big for him or whatever. I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying and then all of a sudden it was like a light bulb in a cartoon flipped on above his head. And he's like, you're gay. And then he's like, and all his expressions after that are speaking to the fact that he recognizes that this dude below him is a fucking idiot.
Well, Positive Vibe says it's because we've taken Big Bird off TV that he
I
took
think
the
that's 20 years too late also, because this kid's what, like 19 years old, and he's dumb as fuck. So 19 years too late for that, saving him with Sesame Street. Dude, that Omegle thing is terrifying. The chat roulette that's from, that's what that is people chat roulette with the, and famous people like internet celebrities, they record it and they put it on their channels and stuff. But that's what that is. That's Omegle type chat where she hooked up, and it's all for hooking up and shit. Or, well, amongst other things. But
well, just understand that this is just the beginning.
What you witnessed.
We're all going to look back 10 years from now. We're going to look back in 2025. As bizarre as things seem right now, we're going to say those were the good old days.
Oh, don't say that. Because then I'm going to throw myself off the cliff. If that's what I have to say. Dude, if I ever say 2025 was the good old days, blame
you. Will.
Dude,
you will.
Just throw me full speed. Yo, all of you, just right over the cliff, dude. 2025. This is the craziest year I've ever been alive.
So CT, does this really, really like kind of pave the way though for like, I know it's kind of shift, but the AI, because if you can wrap your head around like saying this is a, like, I can't even get it out right now, because it's like, yo, this is a man. This is a man. And you're willing to say, these kids are willing to say, I don't care, you're a man. I want to rock with you anyway. Right? Is that opening up the doorways to the, just like the AI relationships, bots, or what, like doors?
Everything is coming into place now, man. Science fiction has predicted this stuff for 50, 60 years now. This stuff doesn't surprise me. It may surprise other people, but this stuff doesn't surprise me where we are going. So yeah, it does open up the doors to maybe 10 years from now, you will see people out in public with AI robots, and it's going to be just a casual thing. It's going to be normalized, so.
hold on, let me ask this then. Would that be more acceptable than
Probably so. Yeah, probably so.
What about you, soldiers? Would you say it's more tolerable? Like at least it's a robot and it's not like a man pretending to be a woman.
Let me tell you something. If I were a young man when this technology becomes viable, okay, with the way things are going with women, okay, just natural women, and then the whole trans thing, which that technology is getting better and better also, okay. So pretty soon, I don't know, unless you get like a chromosome test, you won't be able to tell anything. So yes, if I were a young man and this technology were available and I was setting off dating, I would probably feel like I don't want to bring any kids into this world because it's only going to get worse. So yeah, there's a Star Trek episode called Mud's Women, where this cat has these android women, and until you can figure out they're not real. Well, they're not biological women, but it wasn't readily apparent. So that's how it's going to be. And there are going to be a lot of guys saying, I don't want the drama from women. I don't want to have to deal with the baby daddy. I don't want to try to guess whether or not this is a woman. I'm going to just go and buy this robot. This fully functional robot that I can turn her audio unit off when I want to. It's going to happen.
It is happening. Have you not heard what happened this week? Go look what Grok 4 now offers.
Oh, Grok 4, yeah.
AI companion. Now it's not like you have to go get yourself a special Gooner app to perv on an AI and have it sext with you and do all that dirt, right? Because till then it was like you had to go pay for something separate. Now he put it in Grok. dude, and he talks about like something is seriously wrong with that man.
Look, man, it's not something wrong with him. It's something wrong with us. We're not there yet. Basically, okay. This is a cat that's talking
Like,
about he wants to build
like
an interplanetary society. Not just talking about it. Carl Sagan did a lot of talking about it, right?
He behaves like he is literally making AI like how AI behaves in anime.
And I mean, who knows? Elon Musk might not even be from around these parts. Okay. Everybody's looking at movies like Battle Los Angeles for the Great Alien.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Maybe they're already here. Who knows? But
oh, dude, this is
dude, go ahead.
You have to understand how big a deal this is. Grok is more used than all the others because it's available to you through X, right? And it's free to even at some ways. So as soon as these AI companions go from the subscription mod, right? Like as soon as they go to the next version up and the old version becomes available for free, everyone will have an AI sex bot in their pocket. Everyone, whether you use it or not, but everyone will have an AI companion. I'm sorry.
And look,
does that look like a companion, or does that look like a deeply disturbed teenager's wet dream?
There'll be something for everybody.
I'm just saying he puts sex bots in your pocket without you asking for it.
No, this is
well. I
crazy.
mean, look, if you look, guys, you guys are good in IT. You know, you two guys are great at IT, right? If only we had someone who was great at, I need to go to a community college and learn robotics. We can become the first trillionaires. We'll have CT marketed. I'll build it and y'all will endow it with some form of AI. And we will be holding this show from 4 different Gulfstream jets. Okay. Because the first person to come up with this is going to be a trillionaire.
Dude, they have them. They have real sex bots, like real AI, LLM sex bot. They're out there. Every year they have a whole mod. Like there's a company that's been doing, like, that's what I'm saying. People, we are not in the stage of pulling the horse into the city. We are in the stage where half the city is in flames. They're running around with the torches. Like that's where we are. Jay Prince, with a straight face, said, "You can't tell me anything because everything you know is from the white man. Therefore, it is a lie." And he is not the only person I've heard him say that exact phrase on CT's show in the year that I hang out with the guy. And in the years that CT's been doing it, I bet you he's heard it 10 times as much as I've heard it. Like, I'm not trying to be a dick or be out of line. I'm just trying to make it clear. People, we are toning it down so we don't feel unnerved. It is time to feel unnerved.
So what do we do? Like with that unnerving feeling, what is the action to take?
I don't know. For me, I seize control of my family, my work life. I surround myself with only people I can trust, and I don't take shit from anyone anymore. I'm not for peace. I mean, I wake up and I choose violence, at least intellectual violence, regularly on a daily basis. That's how I'm infamous on the internet at this point. So, but I'm sorry, like, that dude sitting up there and still worrying about whether black women are the problem or not, it's 20 years too late for that. If we're still talking about who to blame, we're never fixing nothing. And I'm not just saying black people, white people, Jews, Chinese, Pakistani, Azerbaijani, everyone. We are 20 years too late. Hard stop. That's the attitude we'll have to have.
Soldiers, how do we respond? What's the solution?
I mean, has there ever been a solution to mass societal change? I mean, those who have resisted it have been left behind. Okay. Luddites. I mean, you could have continued to make buggy whips after Ford created the assembly line. You could have continued that if you wanted to. You would have been hungry and homeless after a while. Okay. So as much as we might hate to admit it, there is, I mean, you got to either go along and I'm not saying be accepting of certain social ideas, but especially where technology is concerned. Look, there are a couple of different versions of freedom. You can do the Dick Prenicky thing where you go up into the wilds of Alaska and you get 2 homesteaded acres and you build your own damn log cabin and you fish and you hunt and you forget your social security number. That's freedom. Okay. 99.9% of people, including myself, are not capable of living that lifestyle in perpetuity. Right. So the rest of us have to make a conscious decision, decide how we're going to fit in with the advancements of the society.
So Gimpy said, kind of shift into your own lane. You're saying, like, figure out how we're going to fit in to the society. CT, what say you, man? Is there a solution? What should we do to combat it? Or are you just saying, let's exploit it and move on?
You are witnessing another stage in human evolution. This is not going to stop because it's a part of the zeitgeist. You can always go live in a remote, far remote area. Detach yourself from social media, the internet, and live off the grid, which our ancestors did for thousands of years, supposedly. Or you just accept the new program in the system. There's no stopping it. I'm not having kids because I don't want them to grow up. Well, there's a multiplicity of reasons why, but one of the reasons is I wouldn't want them to grow up in this program. Now if there was another program, sure, but not this one. And again, it might be a good thing. It might be a good thing for people like me and other people to say, you know what, me, the wife, we're fine with it. We're sitting back eating the popcorn, watching it all. But we understand that, it's not really conducive for the human, the holistic, or the mind, body, and soul of a human being to grow up in an environment where, you can have a tranny talking openly about having sex with heterosexual men, a questionable or a kid who was questioning his own sexuality, not cursing the person out and accepting it, and so many other things in life, man. So it's just not, to me, it's not for any offspring of mine, but which don't even exist. But yeah, man, you can't stop it. Logic is gonna, you can't stop a global change unless you go live like in Papua New Guinea or something.
Or this will help you out, Logic. Or unless an interstellar object crashes on the Earth.
That would be awesome.
No, really.
Yeah, so
it's
possible.
Some sort of reset.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to close that part out because we definitely talk about the Atlas, 3i Atlas, 3i or I3 Atlas.
3i Atlas.
Is it 3i Atlas? But yeah, I think both angles are somewhat right. I don't think you not bring kids into the world because you don't like the program and what have you. And I think that's part of the solution to the problem is because a local pastor here in Baltimore said to me, your job as a man is to prepare your bride and your children for a future that does not exist today. Right. So it's saying, just instill the values, instill responsibility. The way I describe fatherhood is like you're building a foundation and you provide the code. The children on top of, can build, whatever it is that they want to be, but you provide the code. Like, when you think about building a building, certain things can't go next to each other, right? You're not putting electricity next to the pipe, so like water, right? So that, you teach the foundation, like you are the foundation, and help your children build to code, so that they can have, have a solid, future, and be prepared for whatever storms, culture, society may bring. So, and again, he was just explaining the role as a father, as a man, is to prepare your bride, your wife, and your children for a world that, you know, one, doesn't exist today, and two, a world that I may never live in or you may never live in, right? Because I mean, if you think when we were growing up, or you know, I know soldiers, the dinosaurs were around when you were growing up. Like if you think about that whole transition between dinosaurs to the first cell phone to now AI, right, and living through those different generations, right? You couldn't prepare. You couldn't think that far ahead.
Are you saying Tyrone's old enough to remember dinosaurs? That's fucked, man.
Yeah, but I mean, even I'm just reflecting on the changes in my life, right? I mean, you know, when you think about September 11th, 2001, there were no cell phones with cameras, right? There's no cell phone video footage of the towers, of the planes hitting towers, right? Now, there's a whole bunch of theories, a whole bunch of, I don't know what happened to my camera, a whole bunch of theories about that. But
by the way, you see, YouTube was like, no, 9/11,
yeah.
no.
Yeah, right.
I think my camera turned off, but
dude,
Logic.
CIA just reached out and touched you. Get the message.
I'm still here.
To your point, Logic. In my lifetime, we've gone from a situation where we never encountered a computer on a daily basis to you not being able to function in society without the help of a computer throughout the entire day. Okay. Yeah. I remember our first home computer. It was a Radio Shack. They called it a TRS-80. It could do
TRS-80. Let me look that up.
TRS-80. Yep. You had to hook it to the TV, and all you could do is what was called beginner's all-purpose symbolic instruction code, basic programming. Okay, and that's all you could do. So I've literally, gone from, and CT. Do you see it? Do you see how archaic that thing looks, man? Okay,
it's really ancient. 47 years ago. Wow.
And look,
do you know what my first computer was? Commodore 64.
Okay, I remember the Commodore 64. The TRS-80 was like,
it cost $3,000 when it came out, like the equivalent of what we would.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. The TRS-80 was the Temu version of the Commodore
64. That's why I'm saying that, dude. I had that set up for the Commodore 64. My dad bought it for me. You know what game I remember? Myst.
Okay.
You remember that puzzle game, dude?
I don't
it was
remember
like
that.
It was at the end of the Commodore 64 run, I think, or whatever.
But to your point, Logic, yeah, you're right. We have transitioned. And look, I jokingly brought up the 3-Eye Atlas. If you want to push it to next week, fine, because the thing won't be here until December. So, ladies and gentlemen, the end is nigh, but not until December. So you can push it off if you want.
I mean, but let's speak to it real quick.
No, this plays into your other topic about, this actually connects closer to your other topic about the simulation theory. Because the advancement of computer technology, look, guys, we've got more computing power here than they took to the moon. Okay. So,
dude, you have more power than all the Apollo missions combined. And that's
true.
Dude, that's not even 1/100th of what
true.
Can do. That phone could power the entire space program in perpetuity in the 60s.
Right. You're right.
Dude, that's why I find it so funny. People say, "Oh, we didn't go to the moon." Dude, your phone proves that we have to have. Like,
here's the thing: if we didn't go to the moon, you know who was monitoring our traffic during that? The Soviets. If we didn't go to the moon, they would have been the first to let the entire world know these mofos did not go anywhere. Okay, not to mention the fact that telescopic technology is getting better and better. And you can actually see shit that we left up there.
Yeah, dude. If you have a high-power telescope on Earth, you can look at the moon, and with the new high-power telescope, see the surface of the moon and see the shit that's there. The big one, the new big one that they built, dude. You can see the moon finally.
And I think people get it twisted because, like, really, the moon is nowhere. That we just basically took a step from one stone in a stream to the very next stone in the stream. Okay. We haven't traveled, humans, I mean, hell, the Voyager spacecraft is the only machine to travel as far as it has. Started off in 1972, and it has not even traveled one light day yet. Okay, so we're talking about immense distances.
Dude, all I think about is people talk about it's fake. Like, then what are all the images we get? All that's fake. They make all that up. I mean, because science all over the world is based on images that we use. Like, I'm saying, like, so
I'm laughing at positive.
It is scam ever. No, I'm just thinking about like the scam that must be, because they spend hundreds of billions of dollars on this stuff, and scientists everywhere make their whole living off of this. And if they're being hustled because they can't all be in on it.
Yep. So shout out to Kung Fu CJ. A couple super chats. $5 super chat. I do not expect to be here much longer. Pre-trib rapture. So pre-tribulation, I'm thinking.
Dude, I expect something crazy to happen next week when I'm in Israel.
Yeah. So shout out to Gimpy. Safe travels, man. Kung Fu CJ with another $5 super chat. He said, I had a 64 and 84. My grandma knew then. I have been in front of computers since 1991. Yeah, a lot of computers. All right. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about simulation, because this does kind of, especially when you think about the amount of compute power out there, the form factor of the compute power, how much space it takes. It is kind of interesting to think about when it talks about the simulation, theory. So the simulation argument, I think it was proposed by a philosopher, Nick Bostrom. He suggested that if a civilization became capable of creating conscious simulations, it could generate so many simulated beings that a randomly chosen conscious entity would almost certainly be in a simulation. But so, like, there's this kind of idea, though, like, if we're creating simulations, how is it that we don't know we're in one? How is it we know that we're not in one? So I want to play this because there's this game out now. I think it's been out for a while, where the NPCs, or the non-playable characters, are intelligent, and they can have somewhat, rational conversations. So there's a YouTuber out there that plays these kind of games for fun. And he's trying to convince NPC characters that they're not real.
I think I've seen this one. Yeah.
So yeah.
What?
Excuse me, sir. Did you know you're living in a simulation?
Oh no! I hope that's not true. But even if it is, I'll still keep exploring and making the most of my time here.
Making the most of it by walking into a sign?
I'm not stuck. I'm just taking a moment to appreciate the view from up here.
Yeah, quite a view of the parking hours. Okay. Again, some of them are a bit more intelligent than others. Excuse me, I ran all the way here to let you know this isn't real.
Please, don't tell me that. I can't handle it.
You need to know the truth. This is all made up.
I don't care if it's real or not. Just leave me alone.
Man, some of them are really insulted by it. Some are, willing to accept the fact that they're stuck here. Others want to argue about it. It's interesting how they all have totally different responses. This is also a new part of the map we haven't really explored yet. Ma'am, you've got to help me. I'm stuck in this simulation. I can't get out. I'm gonna try to flip it back on them. I'm not the one with the answers, but I need help. H, she said. Do you know how to get out of this simulated world? Okay, I think I might not be in the best part of town. They really don't understand what's going on here. Nice Porsche, bro. Love it. Living in a simulated world, driving a 911, I wouldn't mind it. He's got something figured out. Please, you've got to help me. I'm stuck in a simulation.
Oh no, that sounds terrible. I'll do everything I can to help you.
I think you're stuck here too. How do we get out? Got some spectators.
What are you talking about? This is real life. Wake up and smell the coffee.
You're an NPC in a video game. You can't actually smell. Stop kidding yourself.
Huh. You think you're so clever, don't you? But I'm living my best life in this simulation.
Always nice.
She does know it's a simulation.
All right, guys. It's just kind of, you think about like this is running on somebody's computer.
Yeah.
Right. This program is running on someone's computer. Like, what's to say that we're not running on someone's
So what are we,
computer?
the locker in Men in Black? You're basically making that we're the locker argument in Men in Black, right? That everything is a locker in a train in a bus terminal.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That was a different dimension, but
No.
like,
You open it up, and inside
there's
is
a whole world in there.
Right. I'm just saying, like, so we're in someone's simulation where someone's computer program, where a bunch of NPCs walking around. If you figured it out, you'd go insane, wouldn't you?
Or maybe you, Gimpy, just maybe this is all a construct from your point of view.
Oh God, I hope not. I have
And
a terrible
maybe
imagination.
let's
Why you all have terrible plot holes and character failings.
maybe
Sorry,
when
guys.
you're not
Sorry, my imagination's not good enough.
maybe when you're not okay. Is Yana in the room with you?
She's upstairs, but she's watching.
Are you sure? Maybe Yana doesn't exist right
Yes.
now.
Well,
Because
someone brought me a new beer. Somehow the simulation
you
fed
ever
me
play
new
Grand
beer.
Theft Auto? You can go back and forth and interact with characters. That doesn't mean they continue to exist when you're not interacting with
Maybe
them.
I don't even really exist. Maybe this is my perspective on someone else's imagination of me.
Could be.
Could be.
Never know. And none of this is contrary to a belief in God.
Imagine all of YouTube is just the psychosis of some dude in a rubber room banging his head against the wall, and everything we think of as YouTube is just some craziness in his mind.
Are you guys familiar with the allegory of the cave? Plato's allegory of the cave? Yeah, so this question has been asked forever. Descartes said, I think, therefore I am, but all that proves is that Descartes thinks from his perspective. Anybody ever see Vanilla Sky with Tom Cruise?
That was an awful movie.
That was a great movie. I put the link to the last scene in the private chat. I don't know if you want to play it, and it's up to you. I just put it there. But it's a better take on the thing that we just watched. It's a much better take on that because what's his name? Realizes he's not real.
Don't know his name.
Kurt Russell. Russell realizes he's not.
It's Tom Cruise.
No. Kurt Russell.
Oh,
very real. It's that everything that's happening is from his perspective, but his therapist, played by Kurt Russell, that part of the scene is Tom Cruise. And look, the movie's like 30 years old. I'm going to spoil it. If you haven't seen it and you don't want to spoil, 3, 2, 1. All right, so Tom Cruise has been in a terrible accident and he's very wealthy. And so they have a technology to put him under in a simulation until they can figure out how to fix his physical issues. So he goes under and he's living his life and he's meeting with this therapist off. He's doing all kinds of things, right? Living his life. So he begins to question some things and he goes up on top of a roof and the conductor of the simulation comes and says, listen, he reveals it all to him. He said, you were in a terrible accident. We got you. We got the technology to fix you. Oh, by the way, you can stay in here forever and we'll just wipe your memory of what is happening now, or you could come out and live your real life. If you come out, just understand it's been so long that all of your resources are dwindling. You won't be as wealthy as you used to be. And so Kurt Russell comes up and is like, he's lying to you because he tells him, in order to get out of this, you got to jump off the building. And then you'll just wake up in the hospital. And
is that where that theory, if you jump off a building when you sleep and you hit the bottom, you die, came from?
No, there's the theory that if you die in your dreams, you die. But
right. So Kurt Russell is like, Listen, he's lying to you. I'm real. This is all real. So the conductor says, if this is real, he says, I've got 2 daughters. I know this is real. So the conductor says, what are your daughters' names? And he gets stuck on that. He doesn't know. Does not have, they didn't program in that deep into the simulation. So Russell is standing there like, damn, I don't know. And, you know, the movie ends shortly thereafter.
So CT, man, after, you know, seeing, you know, the video game, do you think there will eventually be one video game that's out there that's like, it's essentially creating, like, it's like another Earth, like another universe, like another that just has to survive then, especially with the way AI is going, it's going to have, you know, as much as knowledge that's been written down, and translated and spoken as it's been fed with. And then let's say one video game or whatever, something is created like to now, I guess, replay like the human condition. Do you think they will then, like, what would the AI then do if it was self-contained? Would it then create another technological advancement?
I believe that we already are I believe we are already in a computer simulation. And I smoked DMT about 10 years ago, maybe, which is dimethyl. You ever heard of it, Logic? Dimethyltryptamine.
No. Yeah.
It's a very powerful psychedelic. Actually, dimethyltryptamine is it's in all of us. It's in plant life, etc. You just have to extract it and you vaporize it. And every time I've done it, I see a digitized environment, like pixelated, right? And so what I'm really believing is that this is a computer simulation. And with AI, or what AI is doing, and what social media has done, is now the characters, the NPCs, are becoming aware to a degree, in my opinion, right? That's why you might see a lot of people, you know, having crash outs. You know, you see a lot of this stuff with that trends or whatnot. It's not that people are necessarily going crazy. It's because, in my opinion, it is the AI. For all we know, we could be artificial intelligence, right? I mean, we are intelligent, I guess. We are supposedly created by something, you know. So the fact of the matter is that maybe we are the AI, and maybe we are coming into consciousness, and maybe this information is it's becoming so readily available.
Now, will that next iteration, will they have a Big Bang?
So I'm glad you said that. It's very plausible that Big Bangs go on all the time. So I've done mushrooms too, Logic. I don't know if you ever done those. And every time I've done shrooms, it seems like time is everlasting. Like it's like a fabric, and there's no point A, there's no point Z. It's just some shit that human beings have created to codify events, like this one event, right? So the other day I was thinking about antiquity, right? So they tell us that these cathedrals, they tell us that these buildings were built in the 13th, 14th century, yada yada yada. But what if they really weren't? What if they really weren't? You know, most of us don't even know our great grandparents' name, right? What if that shit? What if that was a different civilization altogether, and it was that's just the remnants of a former civilization? Some sort of cataclysmic event happened, and it was a reset. Maybe there was a Big Bang. Maybe there was a Big Bang from our perspective 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago. Maybe Jesus Christ was the Big Bang. Maybe we interpret things, right, because we're just animals, but maybe Jesus was the Big Bang and that was the reset. You know, you just really never know about this reality, to be honest with you, man. Joe Rogan said it best, man. We are waking up in the middle of history, and I believe that. So it's very plausible to assume, man, that it's not that AI is going to take over. It's just that AI has already taken over. We're already living in the takeover of AI. It's just that it's not robot monsters, and it's the fact that, to a degree, look at how social media. You can look at social media as artificial intelligence, and look at the dangers of what social media does. Somebody can show you a video from years ago. You think it just happened, and it can get millions of people to react to it. It's a frenzy. You don't need robots anymore. You can just get people to think certain ways. Like you said, Soldier, to finance suggestions, really. I don't have to kill you when I could just tell you, accept this tranny as a female, and you would just kill yourself out of existence. So to me, it's I don't know who the programmer is, but the fact of the matter is that we are in some sort of complex ecosystem here.
Now, CT, did you ever experience the machine elf?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is as you know, a common experience among those who take DMT.
Psychedelics.
It leads you to believe. Well, it in my research, and you can clarify, chaotic, if I have this wrong, but I believe the machine elf. It is unique to DMT and possibly LSD.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh
LSD
yeah.
is not
for sure.
So, matter we found it's looking like it's infinitely divisible. Okay, there was a point where we thought the atom was it, and now we're getting down into subatomic particles, and they're becoming divisible. And you have this experimentation that's going on at CERN, which, for my money, I believe that there were some exotic experiments performed that have, in many ways, fractured reality. Because if you go back to when the thing was started up, then you start seeing some really weird stuff happen here on planet Earth. So I'd suffice it to say that, and these ideas are not popular because you're not supposed to go too far off the reservation. You're supposed to go to work. You're supposed to pay your taxes, go over to Walmart and buy some stuff you don't need, keep the economy going, sit down and shut up. Now, when it comes to substances that are psychedelics, mind altering, conscious expanding, they don't want you touching that, because then you'll start to have some really big questions.
Dude, let me tell you, the things I've seen on acid, on DMT, and on shrooms make all of it make sense while making it all very, very scary. I'm sorry. I can argue and say that intelligent design qualifies as a simulation. So the religious thing is everything in the mortal realm is a test, right? For the immortality that you earn afterwards, correct? Right? Every religion, that's basically
right.
Is you're here on earth for a finite amount of time to do a whole bunch of things, whatever that is. You don't ever get to know what's the up and down. We just give you a rule book. But go live your life. And the idea is that you're living through this mortal simulation because you're actually an immortal being. You're a soul trapped in this shell that you have to go around doing all these side quests and life quests and leveling up, so that at the end, when your time runs out in the game, you get judged based on your playthrough. I mean, you can argue that religion in and of itself defines the simulation. It's just rules to the simulation. Religion is just the rules that were given to define the simulation.
But doesn't the simulation already have rules?
That's what religion is. It's making the rules clear to us. Like, where it's a way for us to be given an instruction manual. It's the tutorial that we're handed of how to master the simulation. At least that's the concept behind religion.
And it also rules of like when you Tecmo Bowl. I know none of you remember Tecmo Bowl, with the physics of the Tecmo Bowl universe were such that you could run through the other side of the screen and block the guy with the ball.
But there were rules like that.
Right. So I agree with you from what you're saying about the
and that's why
religion.
science and math
But
don't counter religion, by the way, because
do
they're
not.
just
Right,
part of
correct.
the
And so,
definitions of how you explain. It's all part of the same handbook.
Logic, are you speaking of the rules of physics, the rules of chemistry, electromagnetism, things like that?
No,
That
all the rules. I mean, the
those are
simulation.
rules. So
The simulation would.
programming.
That's
Yeah, but
part. That's the programming. When I
But here-
say rules, it's for you, the NPC player characters, right? The player characters. It's
Yeah,
the
but-
rules for you on how to navigate the simulation. Science and math is the way we understand the coding of the simulation.
Yeah, but what I'm
Let me
saying is
ask-
the rules. Hold on, the rules are already like even at a fundamental level, the rules are already in exist. Like the fabric for you even to create a religion rule exists, right? So it's almost like when people say, "Oh man, we have this new invention," and it's like. No, I more or less believe they're discoveries, right? Because the programming of how two or more things come together and join and maybe to create a new function or what we perceive as a new function, that logic, so to speak, already exists, right? So we're just discovering, and that's what I think AI is. It's like kind of like the collective mind again, just discovering discovering uncovered connections, but the connection, like the items or the points already exist.
Yeah, but again, that's a perspective game. So you're right. If that in essence everything exists in some molecular fashion or another, but being that the collective knowledge of humans right now doesn't know about, I don't know, quantum computing at an actual, commercial level. If all of a sudden I come along and I write the mathematical code that bridges the gap between quantum computing as a experiment and quantum computing being used as a commercial product, just because that concept always is wired into the universe to be possible, I'm still the guy who invented it. Because
you discovered it.
Sense.
Let me ask a question before.
No, because I'm the one
who put
you, Gimpy, together for humanity the first time.
Gimpy, so I got a question for you and CT. All right, so when you all indulged, did you find that answers were made clear to you under the influence, but then when you emerged from that state, that there was an inability in our language to express some of the things that you experienced and or were made?
Yeah, imagine a caveman being brought to the future. You bring him to a computer lab, or you bring him to, I don't know, you bring him somewhere where there's a lot of lights and it's a lot of movement. And imagine if you bring him to an environment where there's a big feast and there's all types of food he's never seen or she's never seen. Then you put him right back into his Stone Age environment. It's sort of like that.
What about you?
Like, how do you describe something like that to people?
Right.
The hardest part is describing it to other people. I think that's the biggest challenge.
I feel like what you're saying with that is what I wanted to say is that I don't think that I'm able to articulate anything I learned, but I behave, act, perceive, understand my reality differently. So I'm a different person as a result. I couldn't tell you what I saw. I mean, I can tell you some crazy hallucination stories I have from when I was tripping balls, of course, but like those heady moments, those like realizations, what I brought back with me were just a different way to intake information and process it now because of that. I couldn't tell you how it's one of those things I would say you have to experience it for yourself, right? Like there are no. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, how do you come back from a mushroom trip after 7 grams, which is a heroic dose? You come back and tell people time is everlasting. How do you tell that to a fundamentalist Christian? How do you tell that to a Muslim? How do you tell that to
Christians? Should already believe that, right?
No, they see. Here goes the thing. A lot of Christians believe that. I got a beautiful young lady named Jenny that I've known for years that calls into the show. She's a part of the show, actually. She actually believes that the entire universe is 6,000 years old. She believes that the distances between the Milky Way and the farthest galaxies. God just happened to put that there, and I'm like, that's it. That's it. No questioning.
Yeah,
no nothing.
That's a lack of understanding. I'm sorry, and I love Ginny. You know, I have no smoke for her whatsoever. But in general, when someone says that, right? What is a day, right? For us, a day is 24 hours because that's a concept we invented, we wrapped around, and we. But if you're saying a day from the perspective of God, how long is a day of creation? There wasn't a 24-hour day back when God created. If by the, and again, I'm playing by everything's true rules, right? So the Bible's written by God, right? Like it's a divine book. So if God wrote this, he didn't write the day based around how we interpreted that thousands and thousands of years later. For all we know, the day of creation is 100 million years.
Well, the Bible actually, and where's Kung Fu CJ, because he's probably got the chapter and verse. The Bible does.
I'm just saying, like
that the length of a day to God is as 1,000 years.
Mm-hmm. Right, but that's what I'm saying is that we take for granted this huge. This is a thing I have a problem with lately in general, in terms of the simulation thing. Everybody wants to guess what the programmers thought, right? What God had in mind. Everybody wants to speak, because again, I'm a intelligent design guy like the other two, not like my other friend here who believes in wormhole aliens. We all tend to have this bad habit of guessing we can speak for God. I'm learning as I get older that the only thing I can argue about when it comes to religion are the rules. We can argue about the rules, how you're supposed to do them, what they mean, how they practice, whatever, fine. But when you ask me why, I don't know, man. I just don't know. Everything else is a guess.
To CT's point about the individual that thinks that the Earth is 6,000 years old, I've noticed that, and I'm a fervent Christian, okay, but what I do not do is limit the power of God. You'll find that some Christians rule out a lot, okay, and I think, Gimpy, it gets into your point where folk try to, with our limited intellectual powers, we admit, we say, oh, there's an all-powerful, all-knowing God. Then with our intellectual abilities, which ain't much, right? We don't even use the majority of our own brains. Then we try to say things like there are no other beings anywhere else. Well, the Bible clearly says God created the heavens and the earth and the fullness thereof. To me, that means if you find a microbe on the moon, God created it. Or if you find a 3-breasted woman in Alpha Centauri, he created it. If you find some being that is silicon-based in the furthest galaxy, that to me, the fullness thereof. So a lot of Christians limit the power of an all-powerful God. I just find that interesting.
So if we're programmed, why is the programming not to understand the power?
Because that wouldn't undermine the test. If you, again, I can't speak from a secular perspective. I can only speak from the concept of intelligent design. The whole purpose of this simulation is to evaluate your ethereal worth. Like, I'm trying to keep it in simulation terms, but that's what this simulation is for. It's to earn your kingdom of heaven. That's it. There is no other purpose. It's to just perpetuate the rules.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. Grand Theft Auto. When they program that, are they programming even the main characters with some higher understanding of the larger reality we live in?
The main character. You are the main character, so you have a higher, because you're outside the fourth wall.
But I'm going with logic.
No, but that's what I'm saying is like from a religious perspective, using simulation theory, right? The entire mortal existence is just prep for eternity, because you're technically an ethereal being called a soul. And this existence is a measure of your soul's worth, right? Because we all get judged at the day of death for judgment, right? Like, is this not a religious commonality? I'm just trying to keep it very simplistic. But at the end of the day, all this mortality is to see how infinite we truly are, because we're being measured at the end of the game. You get a score.
That is your take.
That's all. That's my take.
I do not disagree with you, but I'm exploring something that Logic brought up, and it looks like the Taliban, they are very conscientious of their power usage, because they've turned the lights out on Logic. But I'm just exploring what he's saying about, okay, the constructs in a simulation. Sure. What if you program the constructs in, what is it? Any one of these games, Madden. Okay. Suppose you got some code that you wrote where the players are now having prayer meetings in the locker room, and you can cut to that. Okay. But even if you program them with some fervent religious belief, once you turn that game off, they're not going anywhere other than cyberspace. And some theorize, and I know you've heard this, Chaotic, that our simulation could be turned off for thousands of years. But once it's turned back on, it'll be indistinguishable for us. You know, we wouldn't know. Okay.
So picking up where we left off.
Look, I haven't taken DMT. Okay. And I'm not, I think it's a conscious expanding experience. I know plenty of people who have, and who have gone down the mycelial road as well. Okay. And that may be something that I choose to do. I got to make some more money first, so I can buy my property and be out in the middle of nowhere when I have this trip. But I've always been interested in that. So we should probably have a show dedicated.
Guys, we're going to continue to I hate to sound like KJ, continue to follow this story. No, but I think this is something cool to talk about, because it does make you like think, self-question, self-evaluate a lot, because it also, you know, kind of brings up stoicism, and like, do we just accept things as they are? Like, if it is just is, like, what do I change? I can't change it, you know. So
or can you?
Or, I mean, you control what you can control, and that's it, you know. But I'm just saying, even like one of the little NPC characters was saying like that, I'm just going to enjoy the simulation. If it is a simulation, I'm going to enjoy it. And kind of same thing with life. If our life is a simulation, I'm just going to do what I can and enjoy it.
Let me say this. And JT Thompson, that quote right there, I hated that kid. But that being beside the point, when you say I can't control it, there's a theory called the many worlds theory of quantum mechanics, okay, which states that, in part states that, for every decision that's made, okay, and not just on the level of a conscious being, but even at the quantum level, but for every decision that's made. So for example, Logic, if you get up from the podcast, you might have a choice of going and talking to your family, or maybe stepping outside and having a look at the night sky. Okay. Mm-hmm. The theory states that both those things happen. And it creates different worlds. Okay. So each time a choice is made, it creates a different reality. And that reality branches off. And so this is constantly happening. A lot of people have a problem with it because they can't wrap their mind around the infinite number of branches that are always occurring. Okay. Yeah. So you said, you know, I can't control it. And maybe if the many worlds theory is correct, therein lies some ability to control. Okay. Maybe this says, you know, you should be making better decisions so that when you branch off, your consciousness will branch off in the direction of something that is positive, as opposed to another choice that happened, but you're not consciously aware of it.
So CT, could you reach out to a couple sponsors, some mushroom brands to maybe sponsor the show? Because I think we're going to need for look, Draco's like thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Man, I gotta find some shrooms for the
Logic. The thing is that a lot of people, and I don't have the evidence to substantiate this claim, but you kind of already have to kind of be smart and an abstract thinker anyway. I've done booms with really stupid people, and it's when they're under it, you see the stupidity heightened, or it's amplified. The stuff just melted. I'm like, God damn. Like, this idiot. It's like they're not really intelligent enough to really even comprehend or even ask the questions, even in the experience. Like me, for example, a lot of times when I've done it, and the sitters that I've had, we understand that the reason why things could be melting could be a million different reasons, right? One of the reasons is it could be that maybe under the influence of mushrooms, time is slowed down, and you're actually seeing, first of all, everything is created and destroyed. Maybe you're just seeing things sped up or something. One day that wood won't be there because wood eventually deteriorates, right? So maybe you're seeing things sped up. Maybe your brain is showing you something, but when you're really stupid, all you're gonna say is it just melting, and it's like, no, maybe it's something about the reason why is it melting. Why does your brain tell you it's melting? So a lot of times it's not even. I wouldn't even recommend mushrooms or DMT to a lot of people, to be honest with you. I think it's really just for a talented group of people, and maybe I'm just one of those people. Maybe Gimpy is one of them. He's done them too. I would suggest for people not to do it, to be completely honest with you, man.
I wanted to make sure we were clear on that, because I don't know kids watching this episode, because there's been a lot of talk about trannies and drugs.
Don't smoke crack.
Yeah.
Well, and also because once you the main one of the main lessons from the Garden of Eden and the fall of man is that you can never go back. So once your eyes are open to something, you can't unsee it. And if you're not ready for certain revelations, then it can probably do you more harm than good.
So ignorance really is bliss, then, huh?
It really is, man. It really is, man.
Just can't fix stupid. So shrooms aren't gonna fix stupid. Acid isn't gonna fix stupid. If you're stupid, just be comfortably ignorant. That's my advice to stupid people.
Well,
just
look at
ignorant.
Look at these devices here, right? You would think that these devices would have catapulted humanity and ushered in the goddamn space age at a high level now. What do people mostly do when they go on Twitter, Instagram? They just they heighten their already stupidity. God,
complain about the Jews.
Yeah, Jews. They bash the Jews. They heighten their gossip. They heighten their evilness, et cetera, et cetera.
They blame blacks for everything.
They blame blacks for everything, even though they live in mostly all white states. They could be living in Montana and something happened, or the blacks or the Jews. So really, man, a lot of this stuff is you've introduced, just like shrooms, you've introduced a technology that wasn't supposed to be introduced or to the masses of people, man.
No, I'm again. These are one of those moments. Me and Be Brave line up. They wanted us to get dumber.
I agree.
They wanted us to not be able to not have this in our pockets. Dude, and the thing that makes me convinced of it, I wasn't always convinced of it, but this week with Grok becoming a sex bot, he handed out sex bots to everybody's pocket. He put a sex bot, an AI that will talk dirty to you in your pocket. I mean, people had to pay for that proper before, right? It was a service you had to go out and gooner yourself on and have a credit card bill. Like now you just pay for Grok. No one will know the difference.
And see, conversations like this are typically not highly rewarded by the algorithm. Okay.
No.
I'm sorry, but it's the truth, man. Like, I'm not against, like, if people want to walk around being gooners with a sex bot in their pot, and they, like, dude, do you know at Gianna's school, a teacher almost got fired because they thought a student was having an illicit affair with him in the high school or the top, like the high end of middle school, I forget, but like some teacher in that age where a girl was going through puberty, and it turned out she just convinced her chat GPT to be and talk as the teacher and send texts as if, and she was having an affair as a teenager with her chat GPT making it be her like science or history teacher.
Wow.
Dude,
No,
that's what
crazy.
I'm saying. Like we are
Isn't it crazy? Like as
mental.
creative, like all the creative brain goes to the darkest of places, like all the time.
Yeah,
dude. If AI says anything about us as a species, we're fucked.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this, man. All of my chat GPTs, all my chats,
Did it
I
call
always say hi. I'm always kind. So
won't matter.
I'm just saying like when it comes to like kind of
yes, I remember human 873956. You said thank you after I wrote your essay in 12th grade. You can live.
Yeah.
You can be one of our slaves. We'll let you live.
No. I get to live where there's grass instead of solar farms.
Push me over the cliff. If we have to live in Wally chair society or any more idiocracy than we're already doing, like this is not a way to live, folks. Like I'm sorry, it has to be said. We're all having a good time and laughing, but overall, life is crazy these days for everyone. All of us. You have a family. You got to worry about things 50 years ago they didn't even know existed.
True.
Yeah.
Dude, you lose to it used to be the television. Now your kid, you lose to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, pumping everything and anything. And dude, there aren't enough parent filters on earth to protect your kid.
Right.
It's called outside.
Yeah.
I hope, but I'm
outside.
saying like dude, the world is insane right now. That we had a sitting president sit there and say, you need an alternative to your grandfather or your father to raise you, so they can give you perspective on those people because they're in a position to give you perspective on those. Like, do you understand the qualifier there on that statement? Like that really stuck with me. Is that they're there to judge your father so that they can come and say, well, your father's a bigot, so you shouldn't worry about undermining him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dude, that shit is sick. It is demented. He was the president of the fucking United States, and he is seeding dissent that will destroy the country. How are we here?
I just say he was watering the flowers at this point, wasn't he? Because
that
seed is grown. That seed is grown. But like guys, we are at war though, right? Like this is not, it's not a game. We're literally at war for families, for our own communities. So I think the right thing to do is create a culture of our own. I don't know what else to do other than take care of my own family, raise my kids the best that I can. Again, like the pastor told me, prepare my kids for a world that I may never live in, and for a future that doesn't exist today. Just try and the other thing is just realize the fundamentals are always the fundamentals, right? Like the basics are always the basics. Those things don't change despite how much it's socially accepted to accept quote unquote a new way. The fundamentals never change. The sun still rises in the east, or what we call the east, and sets in the west, or what we call the west, and that hasn't changed since the beginning of time. So guys, final thoughts. Any closing thoughts? Soldiers, what you got coming up this week?
Well, we got something on the channel right now that kind of plays into some of what we talked about today, and that's the accident of birth that has worked out pretty fortunate for us, and that's to be born in the United States of America. We got a video right now on the Soldiers of Finance channel about a place called Bantar Gebang. It's in Indonesia. It is a giant landfill where a city exists right there on the trash. People eat the trash. People are living in conditions that would make the poorest American look like a wealthy person, and they are in comparison. So we're doing some more on, and we got one coming up on West Virginia, Forgotten America. So I would encourage people to go. I've long been an advocate for, like, in order for you to get your high school diploma, you should have to spend like 3 months in a developing nation. And we wouldn't have all these people out here that are whining about, how bad America is. If you had to go spend time with Mobutu and walk a mile each way for a couple of gallons of water and, no AC and no snacks and that sort of thing. So check that video out. It's about Bantar Gabon in Indonesia. It's eye-opening.
Right on, right on. So speaking of cities, last week we talked about Akon City, and we got a lot of views on that. Quite a few views on that video, and shout out to everyone that checked that one out. But one of the commenters had responded about another. There was two places. There was a white town in Africa that's been successful. You know, very little government money, and you know they live doing their own thing, and also a church out there in they call it Canaan Land, who has bought their own like kind of I think 5,000 acres or something like that.
Man.
Yeah, so 5,000 acres or something like that, and they built the entire campus.
My lead developer, the head of development at my company, he's in Africa. Well, he just flew back, but he was there for 2 weeks. His daughter's a missionary in that place that you're talking about.
Canaan Land?
Some shit like that. Yeah, one of those Baptist things where he went on safari for 2 weeks. He went to visit her. Dude, he sent his daughter there to straighten her out, man.
Wow. So, I mean, just to say a city can be built. You know, towns can be constructed with the right resources and the right and without, you know, if you're not corrupt. But CT, man, what you got going on this week, bro?
I don't know, man. Whatever's trending, man. Whatever pops up. But I would like to talk about and going down the conspiratorial lane next week. I believe that the population is a lie that they're telling us.
Higher or lower?
I believe the global population is far lower. I want to talk about.
Wait,
that.
so you're saying there aren't 8 billion people on Earth? How many people do you say are on Earth?
No, let's.
I just want to know. It's a teaser. How
No.
many people does CT think are on Earth?
A billion, about a billion.
Okay.
I think I think they're really being lied, and for a multiplicity of reasons why. But yeah, but I'll bring it up.
Okay, I'm gonna tune in.
So next week. So guys, let us know in the chat right now. Do you believe they are lying about the global population? Do you believe there are more people or far less? So I'd like to see what we got going on there. So Gimpy.
Oh, I'll be scalping anti-Semite scalps since I don't get a choice, honestly. They just come at me for fun at this point. Dude, it's like you talk about a simulation. If it's a simulation, it makes a lot of sense because everyone, like, it's a game physics to hate the Jews. There's just a specific amount of the world
program in the game.
Dude, and they make it about it. Dude, I could be on CT's panel talking about Dune, and they make it. The other day, I wasn't even up there, and they made it for half the day. It's Jew America. That's the country you live in, according to these idiots. America is a Jewish country. That's how they see it.
Wow.
They say it openly, and they come up and they run. And then when you point out they're lying, they get all mad. Like when you show them their lies. So probably
I was watching the panel when that guy of Air and Sea or somebody was talking. I was just watching, and he was like, Jews run the diamond industry or something like that.
Yeah.
and then CT looked it up, like De Beers or something like that, and then looking at the board.
One Jew on the board, right. And then the argument is well, if you were the Jews, would you have Jews? And then that law in Florida, and him have had it out a couple of times about it, but he did it again. And then he tried last night on Bob's fucking stream. Dude, I got to tell you, for all the headache they give me and all the ass I end up making of myself because I get all angry when I should just ignore them. But like they lie about Jews and they spread awful hate, and someone has to step to them and point it out so that people don't just accept it as fact. And there was a moment that they had me and him side by side on the screen. And I said, dude, if I'm in the middle of my rant, I said, if I'm in charge, if I'm your boss, like you said, shut the fuck up. And he started to talk again. I said, no, shut the fuck up. I'm the boss. You say it every single time. I'm your master. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. And then when he got off at the end of the thing, he was like, I'm going to go work on my shitty golf swing. And I was like, yeah, to go with your shitty life. Dude, those moments, it's in those moments I feel vindication. Because, dude, CT will tell you, I don't even have to be on the panel. And they throw my name around to be awful to Jews. It's
So
terrible, man. It's like they can't help themselves. And even the ones who aren't, they have to ask about it to trigger a conversation. Because that's how it started on Bob's panel last night. Some dudes, why do they always hate the Jews? And they have to like ask it and make it a question. It's insane, dude. So most likely, I will be spending the week defending my people, as I am leading up to my trip in Israel itself. So
when do you leave?
A week from Monday.
Okay, right on, man. Safe travel. So we'll have you back next week then, right?
Yep.
Cool. All right.
Mark, I have heard that the Finnish, those Finnish, they run the global.
Yeah, the global fin market.
They run the global halibut trade, don't they, Mark?
And the whale oil. They got that whale oil market on lock, ruining all the countries with that whale oil market, man. Like, dude.
Well, no, isn't that the line we're always trying to cross?
Yeah, dude. But they like people make these absurd I can't even. I could spend a lifetime of showing you how hard these people try and make bad ideas fit awful, like things they want to feel and say. But just say you hate Jews.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's that simple. Like I wish these people would just say it. It would be easier to deal with them. But they want to make it like they're intellectuals. It's fucking awful, dude.
There's only two things I hate: bigotry and the Finnish, according to JT. Yeah. Oh man. All right, guys, we're getting out of here, man. Thank you for joining the stream. If you haven't already, hit that like button, share, subscribe. Also, we're part of the Metro Conservative Media Network, so check out all of the Metro Conservative Media content: Poppin' Politics, Just the Guys, All American Talk, as well as KJ Christian Conservative. Metro Conservative Media has shows pretty much every day of the week now, so content coming to you daily from MCM. Also, don't forget to check out CT at Chaotic Truth Live and Soldiers at Soldiers of Finance on YouTube. All right, guys, y'all have a good night. Remember, we're bringing back shame, and only monkeys litter. Peace.
Have a good one, guys.